tip.
Good afternoon. It is September 2nd, 2024. You're listening to a little of column A, little of column B, hosted by Will Limonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? Football is here. Not week 0. We had real week 1, full slate for college. I saw all day yesterday, all of the sports accounts that I follow on X, all posting Red Zone 1 week from now. It'll be happening. We got one more preview to do today, and we are going to be doing our picks. It is here. The summer is over. It is football time.
Are you ready? I think I told you before this.
I'm so ready.
I think I've overstudied. I've already overdone it. I haven't even watched a game yet, and I think I've overdone it. My entire fantasy team has already been mock drafted way too many times. I overdid it. I need a break, and that it's too late because the drafts are all this week, and we're going into it. I'm panicking already. I don't even have a roster to worry about, and I'm already worried. Is that a good sign?
You and I both have a gauntlet of drafts happening this week. I'm sure there's a lot of other people in the same boat. I was able to get one draft out of the way last Thursday. I think I crushed it, and it was a nice. It's nice to get the first one out of the way. Get the jitters out, and now I can go on to these other ones where I've already seen how a draft goes. You're in the room, very comfortable. I think you could never be too prepared. I think you're in a good spot. You can just step away, and some of the stuff that you forget, you're still gonna know a lot of things.
I think when you're over-prepared, there are times where something's right in front of you, and you're just gonna overlook it because you've already tracked your plan, and you want to stick to your plan, and then suddenly somebody's dropped, and you would have never thought in the million mock drafts that this would ever happen, but it has happened. Don't fall for that. Get that guy. Pick that guy. Pick the best guy available. Your plan will still be fine. Maybe your guy's still there next round. Maybe your guy was going to drop and you were overhyped and overranked him. It's a lot of things going to happen here. All right, before we get into all of that, we're going to go through our AFC and NFC North division picks, and then after that we'll do our weekly picks for who we think is going to win each matchup this week, as well as we'll have a little actual gambling scenario we're going to try and do here. A little dollar podcast. A weekly bet. We got to come up with a name. You have any ideas?
Well, yeah. We'll have to come up with a name. I don't have anything good right on the spot. Some sort of
bet of the week,
podcast parlay.
No, man, parlays never win. We want to hand out winners. But we want to have fun too.
Well, I plan on winning. Are you bringing non-winners to the table?
No, but I think if I'm pitching parlays, I'm not really pitching winners. I'm just anything that can go anywhere. They're not winners. The parlay is a way to just damage all your odds. It's fun to bet, sure. But
you're right. You're right. I want to make money.
All right. Before we get to all that, let's go AFC North. I think you could make an argument for every one of these teams. There's a scenario where if things don't go well for certain teams, we might end up with who's ever left kind of scenario, but I'm going to go with Baltimore at the top. I think Lamar Jackson's got paid. He's coming off a pretty good year. I really, if this team doesn't run into Kansas City or really is just being held to not living up to that standard, I think they've really been effective against everyone else. And there's some pretty good teams in this division. They all have their own quirks, but I thought Baltimore had the least amount of quirks and a pretty decent defense. They still got a Harbaugh last I checked, and Justin Tucker doesn't hurt. That's why I got them finishing first in the AFC North. Any concern for the Derrick Henry, or any of the new additions, or is this a Baltimore team we should still be scared of?
As long as they have a healthy Lamar, I think that there's reason to have concerns if you are in the AFC North having to go against them. I think that Derrick Henry is definitely on on the decline, but I think in this role he doesn't have to be the offense. The 1A, and when the offense or when the defenses are scheming up the week before and looking at, hey, who are we going to stop, and just figuring out, okay, how many guys we're going to have to put in the box to stop Derrick Henry. That's not going to be the case anymore because the offense or the defense has to be concerned about Lamar Jackson and what he's going to do. And I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for him. Playing with an actual quarterback, a dual threat quarterback. I think Derrick Henry is going to have a good year.
Baltimore has always been an effective team when they've had healthy running backs. It's no fault to the guys of the past that they just one guy after another, one bad news, one bad season, injury after injury. I hope that doesn't happen with Derrick Henry this year, but I do still think that's a limiting thing that could happen and has happened to Baltimore. But hopefully they don't have to hobble through the whole year and Henry's able to really support, like you said, a smaller role that could still be a big role for this team. All right, so we both got him up top, finishing first.
Yep.
This is where it gets hard. I went a lot of different directions. I tried to just pick apart everybody's weaknesses, and then I kind of kept coming back to, well, Cleveland, Watson, it doesn't even matter if he's good. Like, I think we're at that point because he wasn't that good last year. Whoever ended up playing most of the year because he was hurt, and he might get hurt this year, it doesn't matter. I think this Cleveland team is still good. I think the line is still good. I think they're going to miss not having Chubb. He'll be back at some point, maybe midpoint through this year, best case scenario. A couple weeks, we'll see. But I like the rest of this defense, and I think it's, despite the obvious weakness of really not embracing Deshaun Watson, I don't think he's even that great, and I don't think he needs to be. I think everything else about this team is good. I got Cleveland at 2. I'll be honest, I've rearranged this list so many times that I think there were points where I tried to make an argument of like, well, Watson's the guy I hate the most out of all this. I can easily have him last, but where did you end up putting the Cleveland Browns?
I have the Browns at 3.
All right. That's not too far off. But I mean, do you think
Yeah,
Watson has to be incredible for this team to really be awesome again, or like I think they can be fine?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I think he does. He hurt last year, and he signed that massive deal, and I just haven't seen it since his Houston days. He just hasn't been the same guy, and I just like at some point he's never going to be that guy again, and I'm
there. I don't think he's ever going to be that
later,
guy.
but I just think even with the Joe Burrow injury and with Jamar Chase still holding out, I still think that the Bengals are better than the Browns as a total package.
Yeah, I'm more of just saying what are the predictable things that can happen this year. Watson can continue to be bad, and yet somehow Cleveland still won games versus Cincinnati without Burrow or with an injured Burrow was not very good to start off the year. If they're all there and everybody's happy, yeah, I think Cincinnati could easily win this division. I just think that they have the most swing of all this, and with Burrow already coming in injured, with the Chase story not helping, I mean, that might be nothing in 2 weeks and be like, I can't believe we were worried about this. This offense is just
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, what was it last week? The Lamb news comes out where he was holding out, and then all right, now it's good to go. I mean, we are less than a week away now, but I agree that in 2 weeks, maybe if he misses one game or this happens in the next week, and it's a non-story, but it's getting awfully close.
Like, I'm just saying, if things go south, I kind of like what Cleveland's left with rather than what I like what Cincinnati's left with, and that is the introduction to the ultimate dark horse. Where if everything goes wrong for any of these other teams, Pittsburgh is somehow going to win 8 games or over 8 games, and I don't know how. There's going to be a Russell Wilson versus Fields sort of scenario, and I don't think they have quite the same receiver core as they've had in the past, so I don't know where it all comes from, but somehow this team will survive and find a way. So if any of these other teams we just mentioned screw up or something goes wrong for them, these are like the vultures of the league that somehow just pick apart these wins and somehow compete in this division, despite, I don't think, really being that much better than they were last year. Where did you have Pittsburgh?
Last.
All right, right? We're okay with that? Does that scare you at all? Like, is there like a Tomlin haunting ghost just floating over you right now saying, are you sure?
It's just these other teams have like legitimate quarterbacks where we saw Russell Wilson last year, and then I guess he was able to beat out Fields, and that'll be an interesting discussion if Russell Wilson plays like he did last year. But I just don't see, you're looking at the weapons. You have George Pickens, but he's not at the top of the list. He's behind all the top guys on the other teams in the division. So yeah, they're a good chunk farther down than anybody else. And no, the Tomlin stuff it's just like I know the track record, but I don't know. I don't really put too much stock in it.
I still think this is one division where I could see any of the teams still winning it. I don't know if I could say that about every other division. But like,
You
how?
could see you could see a path where Russell Wilson turns back the clock to the Seattle days and leads this team to 10 wins.
No, I actually think it's Russ leads them to like 0-4, and they throw in Fields, and somehow this team just goes on a huge streak and just gets hot. Maybe the schedule gets a little bit easier. Something could line up. Maybe Russ would have won those games anyways, but it's just we're ready to move on to Fields. I think Fields having hopefully a little bit more support with the coaching staff, although not getting the starting role is maybe not the best start to all that. But I do think he hasn't gotten the best coaching in Fields. His years in Chicago were, all right, man, go out there and show us if you are worth keeping. We're not going to add anything for you. We're going to do that for the next guy. I just think he's going to
They
get.
did trade for DJ Moore. He's a good wide receiver.
Okay, all right, that was a little bit more, and that helped. That helped a lot. I think he's going to get a little bit more help and support on the Steeler team and some actual coaching, which hopefully will make the biggest difference in one of these guys. So I think it's a decent shot, and I just think every other team in this division is so flawed. I mean, Burrow and Chase, we already have that story. That could easily be the end of the year. Like, how many chances are these guys going to have before it's like, well, they're just never healthy? Or Cleveland with Watson or being like, all right, well, I don't know why they paid that guy. I don't know why they made that trade. It's time to move on from this guy. Like, what if he gets benched this year? Is that an impossible scenario? I don't think
That
so.
Burrow would get benched?
Watson or Burrow gets hurt. Like, this is how Pittsburgh finds a way, is what I'm saying. Is Watson gets benched and Burrow ends up being out for the whole year, and Lamar and Henry just somehow can't figure it out. Like, there's just crazy things can happen, and I don't think those are all that crazy.
I think Burrow getting hurt is not crazy. Burrow getting benched would be crazy.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson getting benched wouldn't be crazy.
No.
Yeah, Watson.
No, but do you know who his backup is?
No, I don't even.
Jameis Winston.
Oof. Man.
So if you bench him, it's not some young guy, we want to see what we got. It's career, maybe not considered necessarily like a career, but especially lately, a certified backup. Jameis Winston can come in, and he's a backup. you know it. It might be exciting at the beginning, but you're getting exactly what's expected, and it's not going to win you games.
Yeah, but at least you're getting a quarterback that's coming in trying to score a lot of points, and he may be capable of doing that on the right nights, and that has happened. But Watson, if he can't score, that's where it's like, well, at least Jameis can score. Like what are we doing here?
He's going to sling it up there. You don't know what team it's going to come down with, but he's going to sling it around.
Yeah. I just wonder how desperate they'll get if they really struggle for some points here. All right, so you got Cincinnati. You have Cincinnati at 2. I have Cincinnati at 3, and we both have Pittsburgh at 4.
Yep.
It's a good division. What do you got for fantasy tidbits in here? Are we touching anybody, or is this just a sloppy division?
I think there's a lot of good lot of good players to pick from here. There's definitely some power. I would definitely be nervous if I already had my draft and drafted Jamar Chase with my first round pick and he's still not signed. You'd be real nervous in that situation. Like I said, you can't. You can lose your league if your first round pick doesn't play easily. Yeah, that's gonna say you're gonna right from the start. You're gonna be behind the 8 ball big time. But my main piece of advice is I'm staying away from Najee Harris. I think he will be like the main starter, but I think that Jalen Warren, I think he is going to be the main guy, and they're getting drafted right around the same area. And I think that one guy is on the way up and one guy is on the way down. And so I'm staying away from Najee Harris.
I think I'm going to stay away from most of the Pittsburgh defense. It's mostly that the offense of all of this is I just don't think that they're going to score a whole bunch, and I don't know if I want to be wasting the screen real estate with the having Steeler games on. I don't want to be rooting for Russ or Fields and praying that some sloppy mess is going to happen. But what I think the most intriguing guys are the Baltimore guys. I've seen some draft strategies saying if you do it just right and it falls in your lap, you can get Lamar and Mark Andrews kind of back to back in that 4, 5, possibly 6 range. Any interest in buying all that? I mean, I feel like there's plenty of quarterbacks and tight ends later in the round, but if you are going to get 2, kind of checks 2 boxes and you get that one to another double touchdown combo.
I would be on board with that. Yep.
Yeah. I've seen Henry dropping in rounds too, and there's something still intriguing about him. It feels like a first round pick, and now he's going in the later 30s or wherever, late second kind of stuff, and just seems a little wrong. I'm a little cautious of all that. I think if he drops it far enough, I don't know how I'm going to say no, but there is a scenario where life is a lot easier for him, but he maybe doesn't get the same workload he's had in the past. But any fear of drafting Derrick Henry? I don't know, say mid third
I,
round.
I just I just think he's a big body, so you don't have to worry about speed as much as maybe some of the other guys. Or just I think he's going to last longer than a smaller running back. And like I said, I think that his workload is just going to be less, and there's just going to be less guys on the box. And I think that he is just going to be able to take advantage of that.
All right, last little less relevant here, but would you rather have the Baltimore or Cleveland defense for fantasy?
Baltimore.
Yeah, I think so too. But
I'd have to check the schedule because a lot of that is schedule dependent. But I think just kind of off the top of my head, it'd be Baltimore.
Once those sacks start adding up in Cleveland, though, it's kind of like, oh man, but they just got a guy he's gonna hit some quarterback. He's gonna give me a point. I don't know. Definitely some options there. All right, moving on. NFC North. Man, this is the division, right? This is where all the Super Bowl contenders are. I think you got one. I think you've got a lot of overhype in some, and then you've got some young and some questionable moves by the others. I got Detroit at the top here. I kind of think it's a no-brainer. I think this team's going to score a lot of points. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think even David Montgomery is going to get some show in there. A lot of fantasy names, a lot of guys I would draft, and a fun team that I think is going to dominate this division. Can you say anything else? Is that it? Right? The rest of this division is garbage, in my opinion. Did you have someone else at top?
Nope. I went with the Lions. It's really weird to say, as they've perennially been a team that struggled, and I think last year I was kind of low on them. I know they had the strong finish 2 years ago, and I said I think it's a little bit of fool's gold here. But I think Dan Campbell is really got his his way of doing things, and I think the team was doing well last year, and I see no reason why they shouldn't be up at the top of the division. You named all the top fantasy guys on the team, and if you compare those to not even just one of the other teams, like to the rest of the division, it's like, well, that's the tight end that I want. That's the wide receiver that I want. That's that's the running back that I want.
Yeah, they are the first choices of the division. Sorry to the second choices everywhere else here, but I do hear nothing but hype behind the Green Bay Packers offense. Where that ends up putting them in the division, I think, is questionable. I could see the argument of Chicago's really set everything up for this rookie, and that's just going to click and go. But I can also see this. I can't believe they're invested this heavily into a rookie. If they just had a backup in there, this would work. Because of that, I ended up putting the Green Bay Packers at 2. I just couldn't find a way to put Minnesota any higher than 4. We'll get to that, but how good is this Green Bay offense, and are there actually loaded fantasy players on here, or is it just too spread out?
What do you mean by spread out?
I think they have too many names. It's Watson, it's Wicks, it's Musgrave, it's I feel like there's like 2 other names I'm getting on there. Dobbs. There's one more. I'm hearing a lot of names. I'm sure it'll be one of them, but like how are you supposed to know it's this guy, and why waste any valuable pick when it could be anybody and you pick them off waivers?
I think that it could be it could be spread out, but I think it's going to it's all going to iron itself out, and you're going to know, but before the end of September, whether who the guy is.
Did you have them at 2 as well?
Yes. Yep.
Where are we drafting Jordan Love? At what point is that like, all right, yeah, I want into this? Because I get to play these other teams that we're going to mention after. I think that's a huge advantage.
I'm seeing Jordan as he's going to be like a QB 10. So it's going to be you decided to wait, and I think you get him with like the 10th pick, you could have the rest of your team pretty much filled out, and then be going to pick him.
I think he's a little sleeper, a
You
little
you
sneaky.
didn't want to reach on Lamar or uh on Josh Allen, and you were going for more of the running backs and the wide receivers in that area, and you just said, hey, I'll just get what's left. You're not worried about any runs. It's just like, okay, my quarterback is going to be on the weaker side, and you can always kind of look to the waiver wire if it's not working out for you.
Yeah, he'll probably be able to draft one of the other guys in this division as well as Jordan Love super late, just for anything. If you want to mix in a rookie with Jordan Love, I think that's worthy. Would you rather go Love or Purdy? I feel like they're going more or less around that same range.
I I,
Yeah, no,
I think I'd
this
go Purdy. Oh, I think I'd go Purdy over Caleb Williams. Just I think a lot of times with the rookies, especially uh, the elite rookies coming in, draft wise, you just have to pay a premium because it's just like, ooh, could be awesome. But I think that there's going to be struggles just as a rookie trying to figure out the NFL.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to touch Caleb Williams. I think there's maybe another rookie in Washington that's appealing, but I wouldn't invest so heavily into it, and I would definitely draft somebody else. And you're just going to be stuck with someone else if that goes wrong. All right, so I'm assuming we have the Bears at 3 here.
Yep.
What's sort of the ceiling here with the rookie and a lot of veterans here? They're bringing in Swift, Keenan Allen. They kept DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert coming back. Like this is a fairly decent team. The car's ready to drive. What's this rookie ready to do?
I think it's going to be bumpy. I don't think they're going to be worst in the league like last year, but the playoffs are a step too far. I think it's just going to take a little bit longer for the rookie to figure it out.
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him and the weight that it's going to take for the effort it's going to take for him to win the games he's going to have to win to have even a chance of making the playoffs. I don't think he's ready. That doesn't mean it's a bust.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's totally.
Yeah.
It's a progressional thing. He shouldn't be. We drafted this guy in his first year. He won a Super Bowl. Is that a story like that? Is there? Is it just Tom's first start? Is that it? I don't know. Is that?
There's no way.
I think that's what everyone wants. Obviously, but
I think if you're a Bears fan and you're coming into the year just saying, hey, it'd be nice not to be the worst, the worst in the league, and it'd be nice to have, a quarterback that looks like he's for real and he's going to be around, more than just a couple of years, and you're on to the next. But if you're going in thinking, oh, maybe we can make the playoffs and Super Bowl, then you're going to be disappointed.
Hey, I would just worry about being better than the Packers. The small steps.
Baby steps, yep.
And then we got Minnesota. They have Justin Jefferson. I'm a fan. Very, very fun player who's now trapped in Minnesota. I don't know if it's just going to be a ticking time bomb till he demands a trade or demands some sort of situation change here. I understand they had the rookie quarterback. Part of me thinks that he's better off without a rookie quarterback, but I don't see this going well, and I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to stay as quiet. I've seen other receivers already make some noise, and this is going to be rough. You want to talk about bumpy road? I think this is going to be a pretty rough year for Minnesota. What's like the rebuilding hope here? They had a first pick. He's already injured. He's not going to play at all.
Yeah.
This team isn't better without that pick. Oof. I mean, I guess somebody's got to finish last, right?
Yeah, coming into the season with Sam Darnold as your quarterback in 2024. Oof. Yeah, that's going to be rough. I think for fantasy wise, I think Justin Jefferson will still get the fantasy points, but not as much as as in the past. And yeah, I think he's gonna be frustrated.
Oof. All right. Anything else? What do we got? Fantasy tidbits from this, right? What do we got?
Yes, love Sam Laporta. I think you're gonna be surprised at how early he's gonna go in drafts. I think he's gonna be the tight end number 1 over Kelsey this year, and yeah, I was able to get him in my draft on Thursday, and I think that was likely to continue in the drafts coming up.
I think I kind of like Khalil Herbert real late. Don't waste much on him. But I know Swift's coming in getting all the starter money, but I don't know. Somebody who's kind of already been there and maybe he's actually better. I don't know. Just a possibility. Like I said, I wouldn't count on him being a starter, but not worth might be worth having on the roster over Swift. Just a small tidbit.
Okay, I'm seeing Khalil as a pretty much in a non-draftable in a standard league, not even on the in the draftable players. So that should be someone that anyone would be able to get, with one of their last picks if they wanted to follow that advice.
I just I don't know. Part of me thinks that I'm just saying I think Herbert might play better with a younger quarterback than Swift will. I don't really have much of an argument behind that other than I just think Herbert being there and being familiar with at least something of here is going to be helpful. All right, moving on. We got all sorts of stuff to get to. We have NFL Week 1 picks, of which we have games Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Zach, we have made it. Are you overwhelmed by how many games are already happening this week? Is it too many? Are you going to be ready Friday?
I'm not overwhelmed, but I was surprised that there was a Friday game. I don't know how that kind of slipped through the cracks on me. I knew that they did the Friday game last year after Thanksgiving, and I believe that they're doing that again this year. But when I was filling this out, and I looked and I said, wait a minute here. There's a Friday night game. I thought that's when high school games were. So that is definitely going to take some getting used to.
At least we're starting off with a bang. I'm excited for Thursday. Thursday night, we kick it all off. We've got the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs generally get off to a little bit of a slow start in the season. They might be more fired up for this one. I don't know why, just because they own Baltimore. But because of that, I'm going with Baltimore because I think this is a chance to make a statement on a team that, like I said, generally starts off a little slow. They're fire at the end of the year, but we're week 1. We are not in the Super Bowl right now, so it's, for whatever reason, I think that's a weakness for Kansas City, and it will be a strength for Baltimore. I'm going with Baltimore on the opening night. Who you got?
Don't overthink it. They have Patrick Mahomes. I'm going with the Chiefs. They're at home. I think these teams are pretty close. I hear your concern, the Super Bowl hangover, the double Super Bowl hangover, but I think that you had all offseason to get prepped for this, and I think that the Chiefs are still going to take care of business.
In theory, this is the healthiest everyone will ever be, right? So I don't know. Some of these teams it's going to benefit a whole lot because it's not going to happen the whole year. All right, next game, Friday night, Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe this is an international game. We're doing this week 1. Is that what we're doing?
Brazil, I believe.
Brazil. All right, we're doing it. Well, sorry, Philly, you lost a game, and Packers lost a game, but I guess we all get something to do Friday. Despite having some faith in some of the Packers' offense, I don't think they're nearly as competitive as the Philadelphia Eagles. These are kind of like the adults in the room compared to the Packers, so I'm going with Philly. I don't know what else. What else do you say here? I mean, Green Bay is what Green Bay is. I don't think they're quite at this level yet. I got Philly. Who you got?
Yep, I'm going with Philly. Hurts. They're looking to get back on track after last year's end of the year kind of really went sideways on them. Yeah, reminder to everybody, it's football season and all these games are all over the place. So if you had canceled or paused your Peacock account, it's time to fire it back up because that's where this game's gonna be played.
Ooh, Friday day. Friday night. Friday night. All right, moving on. Sunday, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. Which shaky debut worries you more here? The Russ or I assume Kirk Cousins?
Russell concerns me much more. Kirk's coming off the injury, but I think he's a competent quarterback or still has something left in the tank where I do not think that Russell Wilson has anything left in the tank. So I'm going with the Falcons.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wrote down. I got to go with Atlanta. There's something that Russ is going to bring to the table. I don't know how often it's going to happen. All right, next game, Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills. Just keep it simple, as you said. I'm going with Buffalo. you have been cursed by Arizona. I'm going to be curious on the games that you ever do pick them, but I'm going with Buffalo. Who you got?
I am also going with Buffalo. I've been hearing a lot of buzz for Kyler Murray, and in fantasy leagues. I had mentioned that my plan is to stay away, but yeah, in this one, Buffalo at home, they have just been struggling year after year to really put it together in the playoffs, but I think they're much better than the Cardinals.
All right, next game, Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears. I think it's going to be a rough debut. I'm going to go with at least a one-year vet in Will Levis at the starting position over the rookie debut for Chicago. I'll take Tennessee on the road. I really don't have a whole lot to say other than I think things are just going to go so bad for the debut that it's going to cost this poor guy the game and cost the Bears the game. So I got Tennessee on the road. Who you got?
I'm going Bears at home. I think overall the Bears season is not going to be crazy successful, as I mentioned in the preview, but I think they're better than the Titans.
New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? We just gotta just hype ourselves up. Anything can happen.
I think we know.
All right, that's also what I wrote. I said, "Who knows?" But we know, and it's not us. Is what I wrote. So it's not us. I'll take Cincinnati at home. Maybe this is the one where Burrow's still injured and we could. I have no idea, man. What does this team even look like if it's good? Like, what Brissett's going to just start scoring 3 touchdowns a game? I don't see that. I think that's what it's going to take to be in this game, and we got no shot at it. Sorry.
I mean, after last year, it's just like I would like a touchdown. Can we start with that?
Man. All right. Well, I don't want to sympathize too much about it. We're not going to waste this whole podcast talking about a bad team. Moving on, we both got Cincinnati, right?
Yep.
Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. I think Richardson's going to run for his life, but I think he's going to score a lot of points doing it. I'll take Indy at home. I think this will be a fun game. Don't miss this game. I think this will be the fun one in the afternoon. Houston Texans at Indy. Who you got?
I'm going with the Texans.
Ooh.
I trust CJ Stroud. We'll see. Last year the rookie was pretty good. All right, both these rookies were good, but with the Colts, coming off the injury, we'll see.
I think it's a bit of a revenge game where Richardson's just like, all right, we've been talking CJ, all this stuff. He's got the podcast, all that. I get him week 1 in my house. I don't know. Let me eat. Let him cook.
Yeah, I'm jumping on the CJ Stroud bandwagon, hype train that is continuing from last year, and I think they're gonna get the road victory.
All right, next game: Jacksonville Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins. I'm just gonna support offense. I don't know. Jacksonville's like bland ice cream. Like it's still ice cream, but like you shouldn't brag to anyone that you like it. Like it's just not. It's just bland. I'll take the offense in Miami. I think there's some excitement there, and I don't know what they're doing in Jacksonville. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins. I think Mike McDaniel had a long offseason and probably came up with some new tricks, and those tricks will be figured out, by week 3. But in week 1, I think he could, confuse some people, and I just think in general that the Dolphins are a better team.
I think Miami's going to score a touchdown faster than any other team in this game 1. I don't know what the trick gadget play is going to be, but somebody's going to end up running down the sideline open almost immediately. There's for sure going to be some sort of trickery right off the get-go with this team. Next game, Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. This is going to be one of the few victories for one of these teams. I mean, I guess I'll go with the Panthers this time. I'll maybe pick the Saints the next time. I don't know. What's the real argument for either team here? I got Carolina. Who you got?
I'm going with the Saints. They're at home. I think both these teams are bad, but like you said, someone has to win, and just go with the home team when in doubt.
All right, and we will continue with the college football theme with the Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. No, the kickoff is still the NFL. Okay, it is not a college game. Giants, sure, I guess, at home. I don't know. You're gonna bet on Sam Darnold revisiting MetLife? Good luck. We gotta move. We gotta keep moving. Who you got on this one? This is a mess.
I am going with the Vikings.
Oh
I don't think I'll be
no.
picking the Giants very, very often this year. I don't I don't like what they're doing. I watched their offseason Hard Knocks, and I don't really know if they know what they're doing. And I think that successful year they had 2 years ago, with Danny Dimes, I think that was a mirage, and they doubled down, and they lost Barkley, and yeah, that's how bad I think they are. That I'm picking the Vikings to beat them at their home opener.
Oh man, which game's going to get more red zone time? Carolina at New Orleans or Minnesota at New York?
Oof. I have maybe New Orleans.
I don't think that's a lock at all. I think you could make an argument that all four of these teams are terrible and none of them are actually even going to get on there. This is going to be
You know what? It'll be the Vikings. Justin Jefferson will do something cool.
maybe. Yeah. You know what? You're probably right. Yeah, all right. That's enough. And maybe it'll be neighbors out of New York make something to try and match it, and that's how that game gets on. All right, that's it for the 1 o'clock games. Moving on to 4 o'clock on Sunday, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. We got a Harbaugh. No more bad L's. This would be a bad L losing to the Raiders. New Los Angeles regime right now. This is a new era. We're starting here, fresh slate. I will take the Chargers at home. We're not doing this silly stuff anymore. And if they lose this one, it's going to be like, God, are the Chargers just cursed? Does it matter? Does anything matter? I got the Chargers. Who you got?
We got 2 new coaches, and I am going to go with the Chargers. Chargers at home.
Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks. No Pete Carroll, no Russell Wilson. Which team is missing who more?
I think both of these teams are happy that they don't have Russell Wilson. At least this version of him. But I think the Broncos are legit bad. I think that Seattle is going to be kind of more mediocre, and mediocre beats bad. And so give me the Seahawks.
I got the Seahawks as well. I think they're going to miss Pete Carroll a little bit, though. I might miss a little seeing Pete Carroll. Who's going to chew gum on the sideline?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be able to take that spot on the mantle.
All right, next game, 4:25, Dallas Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns. I have a headache already. Like that's what I wrote underneath this. It's like, oh, it's going to be Zeke versus a good defense. So we're going to find out if this experiment's going to work and just how good is the Dallas line. Is it good enough that it doesn't matter who the running back is? Because then, if that's the case, they're going to solve a lot of problems. Zeke will just fit in, no problem with this. But I could see Zeke not getting the job done at all, and Cleveland really not having a great offense, but just at least being able to slow down Dallas just to make this a game. I got Cleveland at home. I don't feel great about it. I don't trust either of these teams. I don't like that I'm already betting on Watson, but I don't feel any better betting on Dak. Who you got?
I'm going with the Browns as well. Kind of a surprise move. I think that both of us are going there. You just mentioned it. The Cowboys are starting Zeke Elliott, a guy that was on the Patriots, and we said, yeah, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're gonna go elsewhere. He wasn't even in the starter on the team on the Patriots last year, and so I think he's really over the hill. I don't feel real comfortable about Watson, but I think just in general, I think the Browns being at home, it just got like the slight edge, and so that's how I'm gonna have to go.
It's gonna be great. Big panic move for Dallas. Blow it week 1. Zeke has no yards.
They're already having like Jerry Jones is like his own like personality. The owners, in general, he's like the most well known. But how are you in like an argument, like in a fight with your starting QB? And it's just going back and forth, and this is before the season's even started. So that doesn't seem good at all.
Do you think every GM thinks that no one else could do their job?
I think to get to that level, just like the athletes, you have to have uber confidence. So I bet a majority of them think they're the only ones that can do it.
But none of them would say it out loud in an interview, right? Not like Jerry.
Probably not.
Probably not. So that's the flaw here. It's not that. It's not that you're built
just
different.
Just a little humility.
Yes, it's that's all it is. It's just a little bit. It would go a long way. All right, enough of that team. They're going to be a headache all year. Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is Baker still the wild card in this one, or is the rookie now the wild card?
I think they're both wild cards.
Oh man, just multiple wild card game. I got Tampa in this. I just trust a little bit more. There's a chance the Magic just kicks immediately with Washington. It's like, oh, that's right. This is what high draft picks can do. They can just score points and make life easier. You don't need an offense. You just need good players and just need a good player that plays that position. Could all magically just work, but I'm going to have to see it a week before I buy into it. Who you got?
I'm going with the Buccaneers as well. I liked what I saw out of Baker last year, especially going against the Commanders. Got that top pick because they were one of the worst teams last year. And I think it'd be a lot to ask a rookie to, kind of come out of nowhere week one on the road and take care of business. I think it's going to take a little while, same as we're just talking about with Caleb Williams. And so, yeah, give me Baker and the Bucs.
Sunday night, 8:20, Los Angeles Rams at the Detroit Lions. Let's have a show. Let's score some points. Let's just see a bunch of touchdowns. Let's see guys running for deep bombs. I just want to see breaking tackles, and let's just score a whole bunch of points. I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm going to go with Detroit. I think they're going to be fired up. I think you're going to see all the guys we mentioned earlier scoring touchdowns and just adding up points here. I'm hoping for a high-scoring game. You think it's going to deliver in the points?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions.
Oh, man, this is going to be fun. This is a good matchup. I feel like week one, they give us a little teaser, and we're just so excited for any football, and then you realize these aren't really great matchups and that one of these teams is superior and the other is not. I'm assuming this is going to be a good offense versus a good offense in this one, and we're only going to get that so many times. There's a lot of bad offenses in the league. I'm in for that one. All right, last one, Monday night, the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. All right, is this real life? Are we really doing it? Rodgers is going to do this debut again? How many snaps is he going to last? Is there any chance that this just haunts everyone all over again? Just an old man gets broken.
There's no way. He's going to play more than 4 snaps. He's going to throw passes. He's going to play the whole game.
I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'll have to see it. I have to see it for believe it. I'm going to go with San Francisco at home. I do think the Jets will be a lot better. This could be a huge win for them, but I just don't think they're good enough at this moment to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got in that one?
Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers as well. I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the league again this year. And, I think the Jets will be improved from last year, but not beat the 49ers improved.
All right, those are our picks. We will do those every week. Do we have – is anyone else in the group?
We will post – right now there's no one else in the group, but we will post it in the Facebook group, as well as if you just want to search for it. The name of the group is LCA LCB. It is a public group, so you don't need a password or anything. So if you're interested in competing with us or following along and you want to see what the scores are, that's the way to do it.
LCA LCB. Little of column A, little of column B. We're going to do something new after our picks. So we're going to do something, weekly dollar bet? There's a lot of different ways we can go about doing this right now. I think originally I was hoping I would bring a bet to the table, you would bring a bet to the table, and we'd be convinced to bet either one or the other for the $1 the podcast is going to represent. But, some of these are going to be winners. Some of these are going to be winners. And part of me is thinking, all right, well, we're starting with just $1 here. I mean, do I want to just do a slow increment here? Like, should I do the safe bet? Should I do something where I only win $1.25, or we're just going to go all in on like the slot machine, like 1 to 1,000? Those are certainly a lot more fun to talk about. I told you a little bit about this. I'm curious to see what you came up with. What did you come up with before I start pitching whatever I got written down?
All right. It's week one. Didn't want to overthink this. Keep it simple. No player props or anything like that. I went with Pats Bengals under 40.5. I think we just mentioned Burrow coming in injured. It sure looks like Jamar Chase isn't going to play. I don't know where the Patriots are going to get points from. So to get to 40 just seems like a tall order.
I like that more than anything I wrote down.
I could see us losing this game by 20 points, 23-3, and that's still safely under.
I like that. I like that pretty good. I think that'll happen, and that's the important part about making all these bets. It's what do you think will happen? And then I wrote down some scenarios where I think this will happen, but then it was like, well, what's the payout? Is that even worth even betting on? Like, is that enough? I think.
The payout is the standard -110.
All right. I think more of a lock. I'm going to give you two because I just can't decide between two of these. And one of them's fun. One's not so much fun. Anthony Richardson, anytime touchdown scorer, +125. And then the fun one is Mark Andrews to score the first touchdown, +1,000. Just got a feeling. I don't know. Just got a feeling. I think this team's going to try and come out and make a statement. I think everyone's going to be expecting it to go to Henry or Lamar to just do something else with someone else, and it's going to be Old Faithful. It's going to be Mark Andrews. Now, this is completely sabotage if you anticipate Kansas City scoring first, but I think Baltimore is going to score first, and I think Baltimore is going to win this game. Have some fun. I don't know. It's $1. You pay for the rest of the podcast for a long time.
There you go.
I like your bet. I think the most out of what I think will most likely happen. So I suppose the way the segment's going to go is we're going to go with your bet. We'll monitor mine for sure, but you have my approval at least for that. Unless you wanted to sway my way into one of these.
No, I think we should we'll each do one each week, and we'll track and see how each of us does, both as a podcast and individually, and we can make adjustments from there. But out of your two, which one do you want to be your official pick for the week?
Oh man, I have to go with the Mark Andrews one now, right? I would feel like such a coward after just putting that on there like this. And,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll Mark Andrews first touchdown scorer +1,000.
I like it. Lock it in.
Lock it in. All right. Well, now that week 2, the second week of week 1 has finished in college football, I suppose we could talk a little bit more about it. Now that more games have played, that week 0 and week 1 have now completed, and that week 2 is going to happen this week. What do we need to know about college football this week?
So the games that I gave out last week, 2 out of the 3 ended up being blowouts. Georgia just destroyed Clemson in the second half, and it sure looks like they are well on their way to locking up a bye for the college playoff this year. But I would say that the Notre Dame at Texas A&M game, I think that lived up to the hype. And then last night, USC upsetting LSU. And it was standalone game. I don't know why they didn't have more games yesterday with no pro football to compete with, but was glad to at least have something, to watch at night with it being, the holiday today. But going into this week, week 2, really only, I would say only 2 major games, but one really good one's going to be 2 top 10 teams. Texas at Michigan, that's going to be a noon kickoff. And then it's going to be Tennessee at NC State is going to be in the prime time slot. And those are two top 20 teams.
You didn't have any faith. You thought last night's game was just walking right into overtime, and nobody's going to be able to do any of this. And then they score with time left. It's impressive. Some magic at the end. You kind of brushed over the dominance of Notre Dame. Isn't that the word you would use?
I don't know if I'd use dominance. I mean, it was they were down field goals throughout the game, and then it was only 13-13 until the very end.
Oh, so you would say it was a fortunate victory. Yeah, that's good. I'm sure that'll go well the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough way to start the season. It's a true road game. I mean, you see, Texas A&M, they don't mess around. They have the whole practice the night before, big pep rally, where I think they said they had like 50-something thousand people, which that's not even the game. That's the prep for the game. I mean, that place was rocking. We have a young offensive line, and there were so many offsides. And I think it is definitely, you got to give credit to some of, to the 12th man there.
I'm ready for the real football to start. It was fun to watch. I got a little taste of the college. That's all it really is. Thursday, Friday, Saturday's a break. Sunday all day. Monday night, repeat. I don't know about the Friday game though. I think they're really pushing it. It's already a lot. And
that's just like to start. They're not doing a Friday night game every week, right? Like, I'm still like, surprised that I just totally missed this until I was looking this up. This must have been big news. It's like, did we even talk? We probably would have talked about this.
we'll have at least 2 Friday games this year, right? Or we're still doing
Yeah, because I gotta
Black
imagine
Friday,
they're doing the
right?
Black Friday one. I think they made good money on that.
So if you go not too far back, it was they're doing one on Thursday. Oh, we got to start it on a day. We want to make a day out of it. All right, that's fine. Just to start it on that. Then it was like, well, we're gonna do like 4 of them on Thursday, and then when the main games start, we'll go back to all that. And then it was on certain Amazon and whatever. And it's I'm just saying, there's 2 Fridays now, right? It just used to only be 1 Friday. There's already 2
And then
Fridays.
Christmas is a Wednesday, so there's gonna be games on Wednesday.
Well, this is what I mean. It really might be Friday every week soon, and not far off. I wouldn't be shocked by that. I don't I don't know if that's respectful to the high school community and anyone who's got to go to those games or play in those games. Not being able to watch the NFL might be, I don't know, a lack of an audience. But speaking of audience, there was an audience today watching a Joey Chestnut eating competition. It was on Netflix. It was against that Kobayashi guy. I think everyone's heard of him. I didn't watch this. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but always supporting Joey when he is going to try to set a record. I always joke, but like he's one of our greatest American athletes, and again, when he's allowed to compete, there's all the weird stuff with 4th of July and going back and forth, and now this was the opportunity, and he beat his own record. He ate 83 hot dogs.
Ugh.
83. The winner at the Nathans on 4th of July this year with no Joey, he had 58. So he ate 25 more hot dogs than the guy that won. That's so many more. It's almost like 50% more.
It's
Wow.
it's not a competition. I think,
And even
Kobayashi
he
only put up.
he destroyed Kobayashi, and Kobayashi ate more than the winner of the Nathans.
That was actually encouraging because I was skeptical on whether or not it was like, well, Joey's never really had a challenger. To be fair, since this guy, and even when he was doing this guy, it was a lower number. Joey just got more and more and more and more, and he won, I believe, most, if not all, of those competitions against Kobayashi early on anyway. So I was just more of like, if we can't find anybody to go against this guy, we're gonna have to start like wagering this in some way. Like his hot dogs are gonna be bigger, or like something's gonna have to. Slow him down.
He's so far and away better than anybody else.
I don't know. What's the equivalent to raising the rim? Like, what is that? He can only use one hand. He doesn't get the water. I don't think it would work.
I don't know, but is that what you want? I mean, I think I keep wanting to see him like really just continue to push himself. Like it's already so absurd. It's so disgusting to watch. That's why I didn't even bother watching it. It's so gross.
Oh man, it's so impressive and
to
so
him.
gross. It's so impressive though.
Oh yeah. Like I was thinking about, like I think we talked about this, 4th of July, and it makes a lot more sense when there's nothing else to talk about, and it's not going head to head with football, but just he ate 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes. I just I can't imagine how long it would take for me to eat 83 hot dogs. It wouldn't be in minutes, that's for sure.
I think we're looking at days, maybe a singular week,
Months.
You could do 83 in a week. No, I mean it wouldn't be fun, and it wouldn't be fun to do it in 10 minutes. It would be painful.
Yeah, it would take me a long time.
Yeah. All right, let's close this out with a little Steph Curry news. He got a 1-year extension for $62.6 million. I thought it looked pretty good during some of those Olympic Games. It's definitely some high praise to all that. You've been pretty consistent in reminding everyone that some of these guys have not had the most NBA success on their teams of most recent, and yet I still think Steph Curry is a pretty good player. I still think he's one of the better players in the world. I don't really have a problem with the number. some people seem to think this is really limiting some of the flexibility of this team that already didn't have any flexibility anyways. So why not get the money to the guy that's done a lot of things right and is still really good? I got no problem with that. I saw some stuff on people not liking it. You got any problems with it?
I mean, this is you can't look at this and like compare it and say, okay, well, he's gonna get this much compared to these guys. This is strictly a pay for previous performance. He was good at the at the Olympics for sure, but I mean, this is for the 2026-2027 season, so that's 2 years away. He's going to be 38, and you're going to have him be one of the highest paid guys. I mean, it's nice to do this for your guy, nice to keep it there, but this is a team that is just right around the play-in game, and when you're paying a guy this much at the tail end, I just don't see the team going to be making any sort of finals run.
Well, you can't trade him, right? This is what it costs.
No, that's what I say. I don't think. I don't want to say I don't think it was smart because like I said, you won 4 championships with the guy. You already lost Clay. You're looking to keep this together. You want him to play there for his entire career. Fan favorite. Everybody, he's awesome. He gets people to to go to the arenas early just to watch his warm ups. So I think for them, it was the right move.
I think they're going to be a lot better without Clay.
Think about it. No other team would do that, right? If you were Charlotte, would you pay $62.6 million for 1 year of Steph Curry?
I think that is a terrible example. But yeah, I think the desperate teams like that would, but anyone else who's actually got a chance of building something wouldn't. But I just think Curry's going to be easy to sell tickets. I think he's going to make you money. I think he's still going to win some games. I think he's going to be a big part of the reasons why you win some games. I think he just needs the right guys around him, and I think actually losing Clay is going to give him even more shots and maybe even help him some more. I still think he's got some buckets left in him. I look how long LeBron's going to all this, and I look at his advantage in purely just the shooting and possibly becoming a little bit more of a game manager. He's a good ball handler. Defense for sure, going to be vulnerable, but it's kind of been vulnerable most of his career. It might not be worth per dollar, but I don't think he's that far off.
LeBron's a great comparison. Another guy that's pretty much in the play-in tournaments year after year.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the Olympic argument with you all right now. That just doesn't seem worth it. We have real sports that are going to be happening this Sunday. I'm not going to act like Curry and LeBron didn't just have a really good Olympic run against some of the best players in the world. But definitely not that good. Just a real struggle with NBA franchises here. I don't know what this team's doing. They're doomed. Shouldn't have re-signed this guy. Should have traded him and made someone else pay him. That would have been a real smart decision. Not having Steph Curry on your team. I don't believe that. We're not there yet. I don't think LeBron's the same way.
Well, when we get to our NBA preview, and next month, we can go into it more in depth.
That's coming up too. We're almost there. All the sports, bring it all back. I just want to remind everyone to subscribe. Little column A, little column B. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. You can subscribe to our page and follow Zach on his Twitter page, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
And join the NFL Picks League. The league name is LCA LCB. Go on to ESPN. You can search the Pick'em Leagues. No password, LCA LCB. Anything else for the people out there?
Sure. I want to give a shout out to Dave. I had mentioned a few months ago about the podcast, and when I went to go home last week playing basketball, he mentioned he liked it. So, Dave, you get a shout out.
Shout out to Dave. We'll be back next week with all sorts of football updates.
Little column A, little column B.